Hi, I'm estate planning attorney Mike Smith with Barid LLC and one half of the Estate Planning Guys. Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about living trusts and a question that I hear frequently from clients. And that question is, can I use a living trust to keep my estate private? And the truth of the matter is that's kind of complicated. So with a living trust, one of the great things about it is that when you die, your family will avoid the probate process. So they don't have to file a petition in the probate court that discloses what the assets are in the estate or any of the details about the estate. So in that sense, it is a private thing. The living trust is not made public. It's not part of the court record. There's no requirement to notify anyone other than family members about it. So in that sense, it's private. Now, if clients really want to make things private though, there's some other hoops that you have to jump through to be able to accomplish that. Because when you establish a living trust, in order for that to be effective in avoiding probate, you have to transfer your assets into the trust. So let's take, for example, a married couple who own a home. In order to put that home into the trust bucket, as we call it, they have to execute a deed that transfers the home from their personal names into the trust name. And that deed has to be filed at the courthouse with the Superior Court clerk. And there's a public record then of this transfer that was made into the trust. So if anyone wants to research the property and find out, who owns it, they can go look at the courthouse. And so in that sense, that information is not private in any way. That's public down at the courthouse. Now, you could transfer the property to someone else, to a trustee, for example, and then have them transfer the property into the trust. That's got all sorts of potential complications that you would need to explore with an attorney, but that's one way you could accomplish that. Could do things like creating LLCs that would hold property. There could be some drawbacks to that with respect to a personal residence, but there are other types of property that you could transfer into an LLC and then transfer the LLC into the trust. And if you're careful about the way you set the LLC up, then you can keep it private as to who owns the LLC, who the members of the LLC are, and who set it up. And so that would be a way to get a little bit more privacy. But ultimately, there are ways that you can trace back how assets wound up in a living trust, and that will allow you to know a little bit about it, enough to ask more questions. If there were litigation that ensued, then you could certainly discover how the assets got into the living trust. So if we have clients for whom privacy is a really big issue, there are other tools that we can use that will help to hide, who owns the assets exactly and allow them to keep that information private. But a living trust is probably not the best way to handle that. What a living trust does really well is it helps your family to have things set up in such a way so that when you pass away or if you become incapacitated, it's very easy for them to step in and take control over the assets, make distributions out to the people who need to receive them, make sure that any bills are paid, and all that can be done without necessity for any legal hassles. So from that standpoint, a living trust is a great tool for estate planning, but that's what it is. It's a tool for estate planning. It's not really a way to keep your assets private. And if that's something that's important to a client, there are other tools that we can use to do that. Thanks for watching this video today. I'm Mike Smith, estate planning attorney with Barid LLC and one half of the Estate Planning Guys.